You watch Automobile Drive, a channel where I teach you to buy the right car. And today I have a 2024 Mazda CX-90 PHEV, or basically a plug-in hybrid that has a combined 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. It's basically the same car for 2025 with just slight tweaks. And today I want to answer two burning questions on this channel. And question number one, what does the CX-90 PHEV feels like to drive in real world, day-to-day life? I know many of you guys are shopping for this vehicle because I see so many of them on the streets. So I'm gonna unpack for you its hybrid drivetrain and its chassis in this video. And number two, I'm going to discuss Mazda's craftsmanship and luxury experience. Let's face it, Mazda is competing in the space of Honda, Toyota, Kia, and Hyundai, yet it wants to be represented in the space of Lexus, Acura, BMW, basically more luxury vehicles. So in my driving experience, I'm going to unpack where Mazda completely nailed it in terms of the luxury experience and where it fell completely short. And guys, if you are watching 100 Mile Drive for the first time, well, this is the channel where I say, before you buy a CX-90 or any other car, don't just go to the dealership and settle for a 5-minute test drive around the dealer block. Instead, rent a similar car like I did and drive it for at least 100 miles on city streets, highway, and twisty roads to be able to answer the biggest question I'm answering on this channel: how does it feel to drive? And by the way, I'm trying to reach my 5,000 subscribers. So if you find value in this video, hit the like button or consider subscribing. I rent all my cars, so it will definitely help to support my channel. Now let's get into the video. By the way, guys, another quick thing I will talk about is the reliability of this vehicle, right? This car only has about 13,000 miles, yet I found some service order where there was a check engine light on. And if you're curious what the issue was, well, I'll reveal it towards the end of the video. And first, a quick walk around this Mazda CX-90 PHEV just to discuss its exterior styling. And guys, in my opinion, this is one of the best looking 3-row crossovers I've seen on the roads. In fact, seeing so many of them on the street prompted me to bring one on the channel. Now, my favorite one is the Sport Premium, where all these chromes are blacked out. I just think it looks a little bit more aggressive, but even this looks fantastic. Look at the side profile. This is definitely one of the longest cars I've seen, and it has a longer wheelbase as well, which should help it to move around the corners. Is that the case? Well, we'll discuss it when I take it to Mulholland Drive, as I already did and experienced it for myself. Time to share it. Now, it has a 275/45 R21 front and rear. These are really wide wheels and basically good combination with tires. So we're gonna discuss what do they feel like driving them on the streets. Coming on the rear, this looks absolutely gorgeous from all the angles, in my opinion. So I think Mazda did a fantastic job here. Let's do a quick look inside the trunk. This opens up and it's a 3 rows, and of course not much space here, but you know, you can fold all those seats down, and of course you get your spare. But to get to spare, I have to, I guess, move some of the stuff, which I'm not gonna do. But yeah, you also get your proper 120 volt here, so you can connect your stuff if you are camping. This is what I want, guys. And then there's another one for 12, and then some hooks. So, you know, you should be able to take this car for camping trips as well. All right, let's do a quick door sound check. And honestly, it doesn't particularly sound that exciting. Like, I don't think it's on the same level as European rivals. It sounds like, you know, Toyota, Honda to me. All right, let's get on the inside. And now as we get on the inside, I usually like to talk about the interior quality. And let's start with the doors, right? Let's see what Mazda is all about. Now, these are soft touch materials, but they're like not really soft touch. Like when you press them, they actually kind of move these pieces as well. So to me, it doesn't look like a fine craftsmanship. Looks like decent for the class. These are all like your plastic shiny trims. They look okay, like pretty well molded. This is your handle. This is soft touch. Some plastics here. This is plastic. So door, I would say, is something on par with Kia, maybe. Better than Toyota or Honda, but I wouldn't say it's better than Kia, but certainly not on par with Lexus, in my opinion. Now, these are soft touch, right? Let's get through the cabin. This is soft touch. This is a good material, so I like it, soft touch. Now, these materials also plastic, and you can probably hear they develop some creaks, right? When you press against all this, these definitely develop some creaks. So I'm not sure how this is gonna stand the time. And overall, when you press things here and there, they do have some creaks. So, you know, not something you see in Lexus and BMW. You here and there, you do see that, but definitely less than this. So, you know, overall, these are good materials. And then that's something I expect for the class. And they look pretty stylish here. But I was a little bit surprised to hear all this. And especially look right here. Why does right here in the middle, why does it move so much? That certainly doesn't look right to me. All right, otherwise, what about the interior styling, right? It does look a little bit dated. Now for 2025, you have your CarPlay, right? That you can basically use a touchscreen, but 2024 doesn't have anything touchscreen. It's basically all just through the control, which to me, yes, does look a little bit dated as well. You know, in 2025, I think we want to see bigger screen, maybe redesign this part. In online configurator, this looks a lot more elegant than in person. That's why you guys should rent this car before you commit to buying it. Steering wheel looks really nice, very sleek and stylish. So I like that. This is your digital display. It looks also really good. So overall, it's a good place to be in. And then you have your Bose audio system, which sounds to me okay, but not what I expected. Like in a Honda CR-V Touring, the same Bose system sounded a little bit better, like it was a little bit more immersive than here. Now, what about the seats comfort, right? Seats are on the firmer side, guys. And another thing, yesterday we spent some time with wife. We found that the lower portion of the back felt, you know, a little bit tired after spending a couple hours in this car. So let me know what your feedback for people who have it, but I found them a little bit firmer than I wanted them to be, especially considering that families will be in this vehicle for the most part. All right, let's hop on the back seats. All right, guys, I am in the back of the Mazda CX-90 PHEV, and there's really not that much to talk about here. I mean, there's so many reviews online that pretty much go over the interior of this car, but let's say I'm 6'2", I have a lot of leg room, I'm sitting kind of like behind myself. You know, there's a lot of headroom here, so I am comfortable. Again, seats a little bit firmer to my liking. I expected them to be a little bit, you know, softer. Otherwise, a lot of room. You know, you have your third row that I'm not gonna really go over. You have your panoramic roof, your climate control menu here, so you can, you know, manage your temperature. And another funny thing is these pop-up cup holders, right, that guys like to point out, which I also find a little funny. Otherwise, let's actually go and drive this vehicle to see what is it all about. And first I'm gonna drive Mazda CX-90 PHEV in the city. All right, so I'm gonna put it in drive, and actually let's put it in sport mode so we can quickly discuss its acceleration. All right, let's go. All right, just a quick acceleration. Now, one thing, 0 to 60, this car has around 5.9 seconds. Some say 5.9, some say 6.6 seconds. How does it actually feel in the real world, right? So that's why, guys, you got to rent these cars to experience them. By the way, let me move this bottle because it does move, this Starbucks long bottle. It doesn't feel premium. It feels very loud. One thing, it feels fast. It feels like okay, like not like really fast, but it feels decent, I would say. Let's use the word decent. But the problem is that the whole sound when you accelerate is pretty loud, and it's like right here in front of you. Now, premium automakers like BMW or even Lexus, they make that sound comes out of the exhaust, and that is the number one rule. Like if you want your car to make premium, right? If it's, you know, it should feel premium, then the sound should come out from the exhaust. All right, let's do it again. All right, let's slow down here. There's some road work here. Oh, there's some potholes. So you get a very loud kind of a, you know, engine noise, and it doesn't feel that satisfying in terms of the sound. Yes, speed is there, even though it's a 4-cylinder paired to electric motor, but it has good power, right? So you're not gonna be like feeling underwhelmed. But the way it feels like, it's like, it's not refined. I'm gonna use this word refinement and polishing. You know, it's not polished, it's not refined for sure. To me, I'm gonna say it already right now in the beginning of the video that this car is like version 1 to me. Like we need another version, like a more polished, more refined version. Let's do once again. Floor it. Yes, it has power, but like I said, the delivery of that power doesn't feel that exciting. And we have good, you know, conventional transmission here, by the way, that also shifts when you are even in EV mode. It also shifts, which is fine. But the whole that sandwich EV plus gas engine don't deliver, like I said, that premium feel. Now let's go back to normal and let's actually talk about other things, right? Let's say brakes. Brakes are good. One thing I like about this, it's a heavy vehicle, it's a long vehicle, but it brakes really well. It actually stops like really well. It just stops. So I like that there's not much leaning forward. There's almost like no leaning forward. So let me do it once again, and we'll just stop right here, and it just stops. That's pretty good. So good, strong brakes. And also brake pedal fairly sensitive. Yesterday I jumped from my other car. We use a Volkswagen CC, which, you know, when I rent these vehicles, I basically go to the neighborhood, I find a place to park it overnight, and I just leave my car there, and then, you know, and then I jump into the rental car. And the brake pedal is quite sensitive here, so it reacts pretty well. Just takes, you know, maybe an hour to adjust to it, and then you're gonna like it. Let's do it once again, and you know, stops pretty confidently, so good confidence there. Now the other thing, let's talk about steering, right? Steering is kind of like a medium, on the medium side. I don't want to call light, but it's medium to light. Now it's not as direct as I kind of expected it to be, but it's fairly responsive and fluent with the motion. So I think steering is just fine in this car. And then, you know, I might mention it here and there, but overall, I don't have any complaints. I don't have any like praises for steering. It's just pretty adequate, I would say. And the next thing, let me discuss this hybrid powertrain, right? So one thing, when I was configuring this car online, because, you know, why would I even need a 3-row crossover, right? I don't even have kids, but we were considering a car for camping. Like, let's say, you know, maybe we can buy a car like this size and be able to sleep in it, because it has goodies, right, for camping, and you can even make a flat floor. But as I'm driving it yesterday, I was driving it yesterday, as I'm driving it today, this hybrid powertrain to me feels like it's from like early 2000s. You know, when first Chevy Bolt, right? It's not Bolt, Volt came out, the plug-in hybrid. We were all excited, but it felt similar to this car because this EV experience is not polished. Like when you're driving this car without music, you hear this weird, you know, electric sounds, like somebody's messing with the radio or something. I don't know. Also, it's kind of loud. The other part, I don't like the whole start-stop, how it works in this car. It doesn't look like it's in a hybrid vehicle. It looks like it's in a regular gas car, because the whole shutting down of the gas engine, the whole firing up of the gas engine is just, it's just not as seamless. Like in 2024, 2025, when I drive Honda, Lexus, Toyota products, I am pretty amazed and, you know, fascinated of how seamless those powertrains. The Honda I drove last week, CR-V, it kicks in, kicks out. You know, it's like in certain operations you don't even know what's going on. You have to look at the dashboard and see, oh, it's an EV now. Oh, okay, it's not EV anymore. Here, you know exactly what's happening. You know when you are an EV and when the gas engine comes in, because it comes in style. You know, it just fires up and it just comes in. So again, the hybrid powertrain, yes, it works. Yes, you know, it does what it does, what it's supposed to do, but it's not polished, guys. And that deteriorates from the premium luxury experience that Mazda probably wants to have. Now, let me go ahead and drive it on the bumpy road so we can discuss the chassis in this car. and now driving on my favorite Tampa Avenue, kind of like a beat up road, to discuss the suspension in this car. And guys, I had very high expectations of this vehicle and Mazda in general, because Mazda makes not boring cars, let's just say that. But what I was surprised is why is it so bumpy on, you know, imperfected roads? There's few weird things going on. Like, one of it is basically shock absorbers. Like, there's no premium feel. How would it glide over the bumps? It basically just bumpy period. It is bumpy on even the tiny imperfections. I mean, we have probably good tires, but this I can tell doesn't even come from tires. It's coming from suspension. And whether I'm driving on a small imperfected roads like this cracked pavement, or if I'm hitting something big, you know, some type of a, you know, speed breaker, everything is bumpy. It's like, it's not pleasant. So overall impression in this vehicle is not premium. It is far from being premium. It sounds like to me Mazda geared this car towards like one specific task, and that is like to be able to handle really well and like show everyone, look, we can make a wider wheelbase, this car will go good throughout the corners. But they forgot the main part, is that the families are going to be driving this vehicle. And yes, folks who don't understand driving dynamics and folks who buy cars based on just test drives, you know, they'll buy it and then later they might actually see how, you know, bumpy it is actually. But it's like I said, it's just missing a basic comfort. Like, why would they make shock absorbers react this way, where it's just bumpy overall over any imperfections you go? So this is where I kind of really got disappointed, because yes, I do like what Mazda does, and I'm going to take it to the twisty roads and discuss what is so special about this chassis and where Mazda outperforms the competition. But the basic necessity of this vehicle, I feel like, is completely missed with the suspension not being premium, where they could definitely, you know, put in more comfortable shock absorbers. Mazda has its own, you know, dampers, right? Its own electronically controlled dampers, but I'm not sure why they decided to go this route. And the other part is the seats. Now, when I spent a few hours yesterday with my wife, and today I'm driving this vehicle again, and I find it after spending hours in this car is that your lower back starts to kind of feel it. Plus, when you drive on LA roads and then you spend a couple of hours, the overall impression is like you're like tired, you know. It doesn't make you feel like, you know, you've been like moved by a vehicle where you can relax and you can just enjoy a pleasant ride. No, it's more like you are, you know, feeling the road. Seats are not that comfortable, and then this drivetrain is kind of noisy, whether it's a gas engine, whether it's EV only, which is supposed to be super quiet. So the overall experience is far from being luxurious, and this is why, you know, it's disappointing, because I like Mazda, I like their mission, I like their products. I was fascinated with the Miata, which exceeded my expectations, but this vehicle I had high hopes and it just dropped them. It just absolutely dropped them. So now let me go ahead and drive it on the highway, and I'll just quickly discuss what is it like, you know, taking this car for long trips. And I'm about to merge the highway, just kind of hitting more of these bumpy roads before I merge the freeway. And just, you know, my face, you guys might see, is being like kind of unhappy, because, you know, that's not what I expected Mazda to be. I expected more refinement from the suspension. To me, suspension, one of the main components. Okay, I'm in the normal mode. Let me floor it. Flooring it. Yeah, on ramp is okay power. Of course, could be more, but it's decent. But the way it's delivering, like I said, this power, it's pretty noisy overall. And part of it because, like I said, it's not coming from the exhaust, the engine coming from the front, which again deteriorates from the luxury experience. Now, this is your blind spot monitor. Let's do a, you know, like a 65, and then let's do a quick sound insulation test. It's about 64, 65. I would say 65, probably more than. So the sound insulation is I would say less than average for the class. It's like okay, but you do hear some wind noise, nothing excessive though, some road noise, and of course if you're accelerating, you'll be hearing your engine, your basically drivetrain, including a little bit of the EV whining if it's on EV only. Now, when I started this morning, I had 24 miles when I went for my like a round trip thing, and I depleted those 24 miles. It's claimed 26, right? But mine was showing 24. I think it adjusts based on the driving style. And my MPG average was around 74, which is great, right? So for commuting, you know, if it's just a short commute and you can charge this car, then it's just fine. But if you're gonna be like driving it here and there, like more than just a commute, then you're gonna deplete that battery in no time, because it's gonna try it first on EV only mode, and then it's just gonna shift to the gas only mode. Now I've been driving for like what, some 2-3 miles, and now I'm at 26.2 MPGs combined. Well, let's see when I finish what it's gonna be at, but nevertheless, you know, it's not your hybrid vehicle. You have to use it right to get the max value out of this vehicle. Now, as far as spending hours in this car, by the way, there's a new VW bus in front of me, electric VW, first time seeing it on the road. Like I said, seats is the problem here. Suspension on the freeway is fine. Like for your higher speed, the chassis behaves pretty settled. It's pretty comfortable. So there's, you know, not much going on because there's not much imperfection that we're hitting. So you'll be okay driving it for longer journeys. But the seats is where I found them to be not as comfortable. So guys, you have to rent this car to see it for your liking if you're really considering it. The last thing of the test I want to do is test the mid-range power, right? So we'll test it in normal and then sport mode. I depleted my EV battery, so cannot really test much in EV, but it's not as fast. And EV mode in this car is not like an instant acceleration type. It's just to mimic your regular vehicle, so it doesn't just jump quickly. It's just average. So don't expect in EV mode it'll zoom, right, for Mazda. So it's not like that. All right, so let me floor it. Okay, I like the downshift was quick, and then it just picks up the power. All right, that's good, that's good. Let's go to sport mode and let the transmission settle down. We're good. Floor it. Yeah, it's good, it's good. Very similar, honestly. But in the twisted roads, I'm gonna drive it in sport mode, and the transmission is just gonna be in a lower gear to basically give you a little bit better response. But overall, this 4-cylinder engine is sufficient. So for folks wondering, will this be enough? Will this be able to handle, you know, like 7-8 people, even though I'm not driving with a lot of cargo in my test scenario? But I feel like this engine is strong enough to be able to hold people around. Like it has goodies. It has a strong EV motor, electric motor, and it has a pretty decent 4-cylinder engine. All right, so let me hit it to the twisted roads, and then we'll talk about the Mazda's kinematic posture control. What is it all about? What is the Mazda, you know, where it shines the most, and then I'll go ahead and summarize it. All right, guys, and now I'm gonna drive CX-90 PHEV on the twisted roads. I am in sport mode. Let's stop and let's go. This is just to basically see what is so special about CX-90 PHEV on the twisted roads. Now, this car has KPC, kinematic posture control, right, which is supposed to help it to handle its body. Also, it has a longer wheelbase, which is supposed to also help this big vehicle, because this guy's is a long car, right, and it's supposed to help it to move around the corners. Now, for those who don't know, I bring cars on twisted roads to basically see their balance and safety, because twisted roads is the perfect place to see what the car is made of, and it will either gain respect or lose it, right? And it doesn't have to be a sports car, it could be any car, because it's just a great way to see what are the ingredients like. All right, so we started taking some turns, and the first thing you'll notice is that the body lean is very well controlled in this car. for this big tall car. I mean, I brought Kia Telluride the other day, and while it did okay, but there was still a body lean, and then it just, you know, did well through the corner. Where this car has, I would even say, kind of minimal body lean, and then it just jumps into the corner, and the tail moves quicker. The thing you'll see about the rear of this car, that it doesn't feel like a long car as much. So all right, let's take this a little faster, and then as I go through the corner, yes, it loads into the corner, and then it just stays through it, and it's amazing. And you'll feel how your rear basically will be quickly exiting the corner, because usually this 3-row SUVs, you feel your tail quite a bit, and this one just does a fantastic job. Also, we have 275 wide tires, which help to grip pretty well. All right, another one, a little faster. Nice, very good body control. And I can also notice how suspension is kind of being pressed down. It's like Mazda was leaving all of these moments, taking all this negativity from me, right, up to this point to shine. And if there was a competition in 3-row crossovers, I think Mazda would definitely be a top contender, because look what it's doing. Wow, it's just a fantastic job through the corners. The steering feels just right, and the body, what I'm impressed is the body control, because it's just so planted. It doesn't jump. There's a lot of imperfections on the road, there's ups and downs, and it just stays very connected, and it kind of pressed down so it doesn't jump as much, which, you know, gives you that confidence, right, that this car, if somebody breaks in front of me, I can totally overtake them just fine. You know, it's definitely capable for that. So brakes feel solid. They do actually, when you go a little faster and a little bit more aggressive, they do have slight longer travel. They feel like they require a little bit more force, but nevertheless they feel just fine. So yes, it is a heavy car. Definitely, you can tell you're hauling a huge car, but the body control in this vehicle is just amazing. It's just wow. I love what it's doing. There is a lean, but it's so controlled, and it's so well behaved. It's very well pressed down, and the tail of the car moves very fluently. Like, it's not delayed, right? It's not. It doesn't look like a downer here, so it follows through just fine. So tremendous body control, and driving this on the twisty roads, not even going fast, going within the limit, but I'm going downhill so I can put more force on my front tires, and this is just enough to experience this chassis and to see what is it made of and how well it's being controlled. All right, now let me go ahead and summarize this. All right, guys, and I just finished driving Mazda CX-90 PHEV, and first I want to quickly reveal, right, this check engine light, what happened, and basically, you know, why it came on. So it happened at 13,000 miles, literally last month. I'm filming this in February, and this happened in January 28th, literally not long ago. And basically, check engine light came on for evap system switching valve stock. And basically, I'm not gonna, you know, take your time reading this whole repair, but the repair took around this evap system, which was resolved. So the reliability of this vehicle is a little bit questionable. And from my experience from Volkswagen, right, as soon as you have at least one check engine light, you'll be always looking in that area of the dashboard and hoping it doesn't come on again. So, but hopefully this is just one of those individual cases. I hope other vehicles are more reliable than this. And now let me go ahead and talk about strong areas of this vehicle, and then the areas of the vehicle I didn't like as much. And strongest being the exterior styling. I think this car is very catchy and it looks absolutely fantastic. And I think a lot of their marketing is just done organically, where people see this car and they just start wondering what is this CX-90 is all about, and start researching about this vehicle. The other part, strong area, is on the twisty roads. I mean, this car does absolutely great. It doesn't necessarily deliver a premium experience, like for example BMW X7 that I didn't bring on the channel, but I once had it as a loaner from BMW. That feels more premium around the corner. But with X7, you do feel the tail more. You feel it's a long car, taller, like a longer car than, let's say, X5. Where here, because of the longer wheelbase and because of their kinematic posture control system, it moves through the corner pretty well. Like the tail moves really well with the car, despite this being, like I said, a pretty tall, long vehicle. So kudos to Mazda for that. But that's not what people are buying this vehicle for, and it, in my opinion, failed in the basic stuff. It failed to deliver comfortable seats. It failed to provide I would say comfortable driving experience, right? The shock absorbers don't deliver this premium feel where they take care of these imperfections on the road and even bigger bumps. It reacts pretty bumpy to everything. And the hybrid powertrain to me feels like it's an old generation type because it's kind of loud. The engine coming on and going off is very noticeable. That's not how hybrids should feel because, you know, Mazda competing in a very tight space with Hondas and Toyotas, which now have absolutely amazing powertrain, which is very seamless. When the engine, you know, comes on and off, you don't even notice it sometimes. So here are my key points. My desirable impression score that I started giving to the cars on my channel is 5 out of 10. That's just based on the feel of the vehicle. Like I said, I had very high expectations of this car, but unfortunately it didn't deliver on those fronts. So let me know what you think. Do you have this vehicle? Are you considering it? I hope you found value in this review. And if you want to watch another video I made on the Lexus RX 450h Plus plug-in hybrid, make sure to watch this video, and I'll catch you soon.